Hello viewers, welcome to the editorial analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus, then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from the Hindustan Times, published on 16th of December 2020. The title of today's editorial is Keep a Close Watch on Inflation Figures. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 3, which has sections that include Indian economy, issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development, employment, inclusive growth, and issues arising from it, and at last government budgeting. Some key points from today's editorial. Retail inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index moderated from 7.6% in October to 6.9% in November. This is primarily a result of moderation in food prices, although the non-food component of the CPI has also come down. Now viewers, in this editorial we'll be speaking about the retail inflation idea and the consumer price index and other associated indexes. Now, if we speak about the retail inflation, which is measured by the consumer price index, it has moderated from 7.6, which was in the month of October, to 6.9, which is for the month of November. It is said that it is primarily a result of moderation of food prices. However, the non-food components of the consumer price index has also come down. Now viewers, before we move ahead, it is quite important for us to actually see and understand what exactly inflation and the associated indexes are all about. So before we move ahead, let's take a quick idea about what exactly inflation is. So viewers, if we speak about inflation, so inflation is defined as a situation where there is sustained unchecked increase in the general price level and a fall in the purchasing power of money. Thus, inflation is a condition of price rise. Now, the reason for the price rise, it can be classified under two main heads. Number one, increase in demand. When the demand increases, such is a situation where we can observe that there will be inflation. And the other one is reduced supply. Reduced supply. That means if the demand is being not able to met, so the reason can be said for reduced supply. See, the best example can be seen during when the lockdown was announced in the country and there was a shortage of masks and sanitizers. So all of us saw how the prices of masks and sanitizers were skyrocketing. So such a situation was related to inflation. Now, if we speak about what are the problems associated with inflation, so we have to see like what effects can inflation cause in an economy, or we have to also see, is inflation that bad? Now, high rates of inflation, definitely they are very bad because it can eat up the hard-earned money of ordinary people. Life of common man will definitely become tough. His savings will soon be exhausted unless his investments offer high rate of return than the inflation rate which is present in the country. Now, if we speak about the inflation rates in India, now there are various indices in India like WPI, which is Wholesale Price Index. Then we have CPI, which is Consumer Price Index, etc. Now, these are some indexes which measure inflation rates in the country. But what we generally find in headlines as inflation rate in India is inflation rate which is based upon WPI, which is the wholesale price index. Now, in the last 50 years, wholesale price index based inflation rate show that average inflation rate was around 7 to 8% in the country. The highest inflation rate observed in India was in the year 1974, when the inflation rate observed was around 34.68%. Whereas the lowest rate that was touched was in May 1976, when the inflation rate, or you can say that it was case of deflation, it was minus 11.31%. Now, how exactly do we measure inflation rate? Now, unchecked inflation can definitely ruin the entire economy. There are many examples from various South American and African countries which actually got shattered by high inflation rates. But who actually measures inflation rate in India, and what are the types of inflation indices in India? So we will see about them. Now, inflation can be measured at three levels. Okay, number one, at the level of a producer. Number two, at the level of the wholesaler. Number three, at the rate of the retailer, that is the consumer rate. So price generally rise in each level till the commodity finally reaches into the hand of the consumer. So number one, first of all, inflation at producers level. Okay, so we will denote it as P. So inflation at producers level. Now, as of now in India, there is no index to measure inflation at producer level. A PPI, that is the producer price index, is proposed, but so far this type of inflation calculation, it hasn't started in India yet. Number two, inflation at the wholesale level. Okay, so we will denote it as W. Now, the inflation at wholesale level, this is most popular inflation rate calculation methodology in India. The index used to calculate wholesale inflation is known as WPI, which is the wholesale price index. This inflation rate is often known as headline inflation. WPI is released by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Though RBI uses wholesale price index for most of its policy decisions before 2014, but WPI based inflation calculation was not false proof. Now, it was not 100% accurate. Okay, there were several issues that were associated with the WPI index. So WPI shows the combined price of a commodity basket which comprises of how many items? A total of 676 items. But WPI does not include services, and it neither reflects the bottlenecks between the producer and wholesaler, nor between the wholesaler and the retailer. So the issues that I'm talking about, they are: number one, the WPI, it does not includes services. Number two, it does not reflect the bottlenecks between the producer and the wholesaler, also between wholesaler and the retailer, or you can say consumer. Okay, hence from 2014, as part of the reforms initiated by RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan, RBI shifted to consumer price index for policy decisions. Before 2014, it was WPI that RBI used to take in order to frame its policies, but after 2014, it was CPI, which is the consumer price index, that was taken by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, the third index that we spoke about was the inflation at the retail level, or we can denote it by C. Here we will speak about the CPI, which is the consumer price index. Now, consumer, it often directly buys from retailer. So the inflation experienced at retail shops is the actual reflection of the price rise in the country. It also shows the cost of living better. In India, The index which shows the inflation rate at a retail level is known as Consumer Price Index. Now, CPI is based on a total of 260 commodities, but includes certain services too. Now, there were four consumer price indices covering different socio-economic groups in the economy. Now, these four indices were: number one, the CPI, Consumer Price Index for agricultural labor, that is CPI-AL. Number two, Consumer Price Index for industrial workers, that is IW. Number three, Consumer Price Index for rural laborers, that is RL. And number four, it was Consumer Price Index for urban non-manual employees, that is UNME, urban non-manual employees. Now, CPI is now using a new series on the base 2010. Okay, now the base that has been used is 2010 is equal to 100 for all India and states, union territories separately for rural, urban and combined. The Central Statistics Office CSO under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation releases the Consumer Price Index. Consumer Price Index is based on retail prices, and this index is used to calculate the DA, dearness allowance for the government employees. Now, like we spoke about WPI, it was basically concerned with the headline inflation. So what exactly the headline inflation and another inflation, that is core inflation, what exactly are they? So we have to see headline inflation. We will denote it as HI. The headline inflation is the measure of total inflation within an economy. It includes price rise in food, fuel and all other commodities. The inflation rate expressed in WPI, that is Wholesale Price Index, it usually denotes the headline inflation. Though Consumer Price Index values are often higher, the WPI values, they often make the headlines. Now, the second type of inflation, that was the core inflation, we will denote it as the CI. It is also known as the underlying inflation, okay, or the non-food inflation, okay, non-food inflation. So, core inflation is also a term used to denote the extent of inflation in an economy. But the core inflation does not consider inflation in food and fuel. This is a concept derived from headline inflation. There is no index for direct measurement of core inflation, and how it is measured by excluding food and fuel items from the WPI or the CPI. Now, when we were discussing about inflation, we spoke about some of the causes. Now, there can be two set of factors that actually cause inflation in a country. That is, number one, the demand pull, and number two, cost push. The demand pull and the cost push. Now, what are the factors that are associated with demand pull? Number one, rise in population. Number two, black money. Number three, rise in income. Number four, excessive government expenditure. So they are demand pull factors. When we speak about the cost push factors, so some of the cost push factors are infrastructure bottlenecks, which lead to rise in production and distribution costs. Number two, rise in the minimum support prices. Number three, rise in international prices. Number four, hoarding, black marketing. Number five, rise in indirect taxes. Okay. Now, one of the most important questions, what measures can be taken to address the problem of inflation? See, both in our country, both government and the central bank, that is the Reserve Bank of India, they try to tackle inflation with their policies, which are known as the fiscal and monetary policies respectively. The fiscal policies correspond to tax-related measures taken by government to control inflation, that is money supply. RBI, through its various monetary policies, limit the money supply by altering rates like cash reserve ratio, repo rate, reverse repo rate, etc. Administrative measures taken by government like strengthening of public distribution system also plays a crucial role in curbing inflation. So viewers, I think we are quite clear with the idea of inflation. What are the various indexes? So let's move ahead. While the November numbers mark an end to rising inflation since August, headline inflation continues to be above Reserve Bank of India's upper limit of 6% and is unlikely to come down in the near future. See, the headline inflation by WPI, Wholesale Price Index, it is still above the Reserve Banks of India upper limit, the upper limit which has been set with reference to headline inflation by Reserve Bank of India is 6%. The headline inflation is way above 6% right now, and it is expected that no anytime sooner it is going to come down. The rising crude oil prices along with higher tax components of petrol prices can generate additional tailwinds for inflation going forward. Some of the other factors through which inflation might go ahead are a rise in the prices of the crude oil and other petroleum related products. The present scenario, the fact that the current inflationary spike has come at a time when the economy needs every possible support to growth, makes it a tricky situation for policymakers. We all know that after the economy got reopened, after such a big lockdown, it is very important for the economy to grow and stand again. And in such a situation, when there is such a spike in inflation, it actually is becoming quite tricky for the policymakers. The RBI has kept the policy rate unchanged since May 2020 in view of rising inflation, even though the monetary policy stance has been kept accommodative. There was no rate change done by the Reserve Bank since May 2020 because of the increasing inflation. Some experts have pointed out that raising interest rates at this juncture will only end up attracting hot money from foreign markets, which, while doing little to add the productive capacity in the economy, might hurt exports by forcing an appreciation of the rupee. See, many experts, they have said this thing that if the interest rates are raised at this point of time, it will add to money from the foreign markets and it will definitely add to the productive capacity of our economy. Now, what is productive capacity? So, productive capacity is the maximum possible output of an economy. Okay, according to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, no agreed upon definition of maximum output it exists. A persistence of high inflation, especially in food item, might put a squeeze on household budgets and therefore mass demand. See, this high inflation will definitely have, especially high inflation on the food items, will definitely have an impact on the household's budget because of the increased food prices. People have to definitely check their pockets before spending. Okay. Now, the future ahead. The center will present its budget in 45 days. It will need to project a nominal GDP growth for budgetary calculations. Now, when I speak about the nominal GDP, now what exactly nominal GDP? That is the nominal gross domestic product. So it is evaluated at the current market prices. GDP is the monetary value of all the goods and services produced in the country. This is a basic idea which we have. Now, nominal GDP, it actually differs from real GDP in a manner where the nominal GDP includes changes in prices due to inflation, which reflects the rate of price rise in an economy. Okay, nominal GDP is also an assessment of economic production in an economy, but it includes the current prices of goods and services in its calculation. Okay, because nominal GDP does not remove the pace of rising prices when comparing one period to another, it can inflate the growth figures, right? So government has to project such a nominal GDP rate so that its budgetary calculation are being set at a good level. On this count, a higher inflation could actually be of help as it will boost revenues, right? Taxes, after all, are a fraction of nominal and not real income. See, like I spoke about the nominal and the real GDP, similarly, we have the nominal and the real income. The real income is income of individuals or nations after adjusting for inflation. It is calculated by dividing the nominal income by the price level. Therefore, real income is more useful indicator of well-being since it measures the amount of goods and services that can be purchased with the income. However, the entire idea here is to understand that policy will have to be vigilant about inflation in the coming days. The entire idea here that I want to say, or the editor want to convey here, is that the policies that are being framed, those policies have to be quite vigilant with respect to inflation in the time to come. So viewers, this was with today's editorial analysis. Now, a question that can be framed from today's editorial is, what is CPI inflation? How is it measured? Its significance and effects of variation on economy. Viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.